Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Hari Bol to Ramchandra Prabhu, Meenakshi Mohini, Sangeeta Mataji, Aarti Mataji for facilitating the chanting this morning. Alright, let's start with our Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramlitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so we are continuing with our prayer of the week as Shri Chaitanya Ashtakam by Shri Rupa Goswami. Anybody would like to try singing today?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think I like to give it a try. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of mistakes, but...
No, it's okay. You can go slowly, one word by word.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sadopashya Shriman Tritamanujaka Pranayitam Vahatper Giripane Girisha Parameshti Prabhatabhi Swabhakta Bhaya Sudasham Nija Bhajana Mudramupadishan Sa Chaitanya Kimme Punar Api Drishyo Yasyati Padam Sureshanam Durgam Katir Atis Yono Panishadam Muninam Sarvasham Pranatapatilinam Madhurima Viniryasya Premno Nikalapashu Palamapujadrisham Sa Chaitanya Kimme Punarapi Drishur Yasyati Padam Swarupam Vibrano Jagad Atulam Advaita Dayatiya Dayata Prapanna Srivaso Janita Paramananda Garima Harir Dinodhari Gajapati Kripsheko Taralaha Sachatanya Kimme Punarapi Drishyo Yasyati Padam Rasodama Kamar Buddha Madhura Dhamojvalatanur Yatinam Utmasa Taranikara Vidyoti Vasanaha Hiranyanam Lakshmi Parama Abhi Bhavan Angika Rucha Sachatanya Kimme Punar Api Drishyo Yasyati Padam Hare Krishneti Uchai Spuriti Rasano Nama Ganana Kritagranti Shreni Subhagakati Sutro Jwalakaraha Vishalakso Dirgha Hargala Yugala Khelena Chita Bhuja Sachatanya Kimme Punar Api Drishyo Yasyati Padam Payora se tire sprudayupalavanali kalanaya mohor vrindanya smarna janita prema vivasa Kvachit Krishna vritti prachala rasano bhagati rasikaha Sachatanya kimme punar api drishur yasyati padam Ratharura Rasyard Adipadavi Nilachala Pater Adharbhadra Premurmi Spuritita Natanola Vivasa Saharsham Gayabdi Pavitra Tanur Vaishnavya Jane Sachatanya Kimme Punar Api Drishyor Yasyati Padam Bhuvam Sinna Chan Ashru Shrutribhir Abhita Chandra Pulke परितंगो निपस्तबकनव किंजल का जय भी घना स्वेद स्तोमस्तिमिततनुर उत्कीर्तना सुखी सा चैतन्य किं मे पुनरपि दृश्यो यस्यति पदम् अदिते गौरंग स्मरणा पादवी मंगलांतरम कृतियो विशंभ स्पृद अमला धीर अष्टकमिदम पारंदे सद्यस्तम अमला पदाम्भोजो युगले परिस्फुरा तस्य स्फुरतनितारं प्रेमलहरी हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Sorry Prabhuji, it was so out of tune.
As we said, pronunciation may not be perfect, but renunciation is perfect. So that is what we need. Hari Bol. Thank you so much for trying wonderfully. Appreciate your endeavor. And that is what we have in our control. So thank you. Shri Chaitanya Ashtakam ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, anybody else would like to read the translation?
I can read.
Hare Krishna, Shri Mataji, yes.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always the most worshipable deity of the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who came in the garb of ordinary men bearing love for him. He instructs his own pure devotional service to his own devotees. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a protector of the demigods, the supreme goal of the Upanishads, the be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has manifested his own form, which cannot be compared to anything in the material universe. He is very dear to Advaita Acharya, and Srivas Pandit is surrendered to him. He is very respectful to Paramanand Puri. He takes away the ignorance of the material world and delivers the conditioned souls suffering from the threefold misery. He showered his mercy on Maharaja Prataparudra, the king of Orissa. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes maddened by tasting the mellows of devotional service. His effulgent form is the abode of sweetness for millions of cupids, and he is the crest jewel of sannyasis. His garments display the effulgence of the sun, and the splendor of his body eclipses the beauty of gold. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants the Hare Krishna mantra in a loud voice, the holy name dancing on his tongue, as he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful knotted string held in his effulgent hand. His eyes are large and his long arms, bending as he performs his pastimes, reach down to his knees. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the topmost of all devotees. Sometimes, while walking on the beach, he would see a beautiful garden nearby and mistake it for the forest of Vrindavan. He would thus be completely overwhelmed by ecstatic love of Krishna and begin to chant the holy name and dance. His tongue worked incessantly as he chanted, Krishna, Krishna. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced down the main road in great ecstasy before Lord Jagannath, the master of Nilachal, who was sitting on his car. Overwhelmed by the transcendental bliss of dancing and surrounded by the Vaishnavas who sang the holy names, he manifested waves of ecstatic love of Godhead. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became joyful during the loud chanting of the holy names, and he sprinkled the earth with showers of tears. All the hairs of his body, standing on end, appeared like beautiful filaments of fresh kadamba blossoms, and his body glistened with profuse perspiration. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? May the great ocean, full of waves of pure love for the two white lotus flowers of the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, become immediately manifested at every moment to whatever pious person reads these 8 most auspicious verses, his pure intelligence shining with faith as he meditates on Lord Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will manifest himself in front of both of you today, Meenu Mataji and Shriya Mataji. So please give us also darshan. Hare Krishna. Yes, anything else you would like to share, Shriya Mataji, from this prayer that you liked?
Yes, Prabhu, I really like, I think one of the verses where where it mentions that when he sees when he's walking on the beach, he's reminded of the, looks at the trees and he's reminded of the forest of Vrindavan, he mistakes it as a forest of Vrindavan when he says, yeah, that one. I think that's our goal, right? Like, of life, that whenever, even in the ordinary things, how we think of Krishna is important than actually going to Vrindavan and taking darshan. That is, more than that, is important that in our daily lives, at every moment, how we think of Krishna and Radha, and we just want to appreciate you for doing that. Whenever you see, how you juggle with all the words and all that, you have that vision. So yeah, that's the goal. Whenever I've also mentioned earlier, right, that whenever I move to Pittsburgh and move to this house, we have like there is a forest behind, and I was feeling very low when I moved here, and that's all I could think. I'm like, okay, every morning, whenever I look at this, I'll just think of that I'm in Vrindavan, because these are the trees which reminds me of Vrindavan. So yeah, just thought of that. Hare Krishna.
Very well. Yes, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's the vision, like you said, we all need to develop to see the Lord everywhere. Yes, nice that you are able to see Vrindavan behind your house. Yeah, now that as you're speaking, I was reminded when we moved to Cincinnati, we were in an apartment, and that apartment also had wooded community behind where we were. So in our balcony, it always used to look like forest of Vrindavan. But yeah, now of course we don't have here. But whenever we walk, yes, like in our office, and of course we have a lot of trees around there. But yeah, like we said, yeah, whether we see the sky, you can remember the color of Krishna. Shyam Sundar is there, especially in this winter. Many days we get darshan of Krishna just by looking at the sky. Just the color of the sky. Just by looking at the stars, just by looking at the moon in the night, we can remember that this is the eye of Krishna, right? Krishna says that Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yoho. So I am the light of the sun and the moon. So like that, yeah. Small, when you drink water. Water is the most easiest thing because we all drink water so many times. Next time, whenever we drink water, just remember Rasoham Apsukanteya, right? So always, at least that one line should come in our mind whenever we drink water. So that way, that is the most easiest way we can remember Krishna. Like that, yeah. If we keep practicing, then he will manifest before the path of our eyes. Just as he did yesterday, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we were singing this prayer, and then as we were reading, towards the end, Mahaprabhu came in our discussion of where Prabhupada was talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's most simple way of attaining Krishna is by chanting the holy name, right? So we don't need anything complicated. Just one simple thing that Mahaprabhu gave is so potent. And yeah, as we were reading the teachings of Lord Kapila, I was reflecting somehow. It is very wonderful. Sometimes, like whatever we read, and like if I'm hearing a class by Prabhupada or by Guru Maharaj or anything, it will just immediately connect back with what we read today. So yesterday was the same thing. After we read this, I was listening while going to work. I listened to class by my Guru Maharaj. So while driving to work yesterday, he was talking about Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then suddenly he talked about things which exactly related with what we just read yesterday. So Guru Maharaj was talking about how we should, all of us, many of us here are initiated, for those who are on the process of initiation. So he was talking about the 4 steps in our journey. So one is, we should we should take shelter of a bona fide guru, right? Like here reading that there should be a disciplic succession, and the knowledge, transcendental knowledge, comes through a bona fide guru, either from the Lord directly, like Kapil Muni here giving to his mother, or through his bona fide representatives. So in our journey, Guru Maharaj is saying, we have 4 steps. One is, we take shelter of a bona fide guru. Second is we serve them nicely, right? And then third is, we surrender. Guru Maharaj is talking about initiation, right? So we surrender and take initiation. And then the 4th step, which is the most important, is to seek spiritual advancement, right? So it's kind of the 4 S's. So you take shelter, you serve, you surrender, and then you seek spiritual advancement. But Guru Maharaj is saying that many of us, we just stop at the 3rd step. So we take shelter, we serve, we take initiation, we surrender. But then after that, what next? Right? In material life also, every year we all aspire that we will get a raise, we will get a bonus. We want increment in our salary, right? Nobody wants to stay stuck in the same salary, right? Every year. So every year we are looking for some advancement. So similarly in spiritual life also, we should seek spiritual advancement. That is the most important goal of spiritual life. But many devotees are just saying after initiation they get stuck at just the 3rd step, and then they are stuck there, right? They're not seeking spiritual advancement. So that should be our goal, to seek spiritual advancement. And that is again very simple by this process that Mahaprabhu has given us of chanting. Right? So I always keep joking with that acronym also, right? It's the cash. So we are talking about material cash, but in spiritual cash is you chant. You chant how? You chant attentively. And that is the C and A. And then S and S is you study. How do you study? You study sincerely in a sangha, in a group of devotees. Right? And then last S and H is you serve humbly. So that makes it CASSSH, cash. Right? So that is our spiritual cash that we need to accrue to actually make spiritual advancement. So that is what Maharaj was saying, that yes, we need to chant. Just by chanting, studying and serving, these 3 things are very, very important. So when we do that, we make spiritual advancement. But yeah, we have to bring quality into each of those processes that we are doing. So yeah, it's wonderful. Many of these teachings, we'll talk more maybe after we finish today's reading. So let's continue. So yesterday, here Krishna is talking about how he comes in different yugas to establish religion and annihilate the demons. So let's continue. Some hundreds and thousands of years ago, Lord Krishna appeared as Devahuti Putra Kapil Dev. His father's name was Kardama Muni. After Kapil Dev grew up, his father, according to the Vedic system, retired, took sannyas, and left home to cultivate spiritual life. It is not that one should rot in this material world throughout one's whole life. Pancha Shodvam Vanam Vrachet. According to the Vedic injunctions, there are 4 ashramas and 4 varnas, and these used to be followed very strictly. After his son grew up, Kardama Muni, being a strict follower of the Vedas, left home and put his wife in the charge of his grown son, Kapila Dev. It is said of Kapil Dev, Kapilas Tattva Sankhyata Bhagavan. Lord Kapila is Bhagavan. Nowadays, Bhagavan is taken very cheaply because the word is misused. But actually, Bhagavan is not an ordinary man. Avajananti Mamudha. Because Bhagavan Shri Krishna appeared as a human being, fools and rascals Mudas consider Krishna as an ordinary human. As Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita 7.13, Trivhir Gunamayir Bhaver Ebhi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabhijanati Mam Ebhya Param Avyayam. Deluded by the 3 modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Yet there are Mahatmas, great souls, who can understand Krishna. Arjuna could understand that although Krishna was playing the part of his friend, he was nonetheless the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna was in perfect knowledge, yet Krishna instructed him for our benefit. Arjuna requested Krishna's instructions, which are set forth for all human society. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna addressed Krishna as Param Brahma Param Dhama, the Supreme Brahman and Supreme Abode. Every person is actually Brahman, spirit soul. We are not actually the body. Awareness of Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, is actual self-realization. According to the Vedic culture, one must understand that he is Brahman, not the body. We should not remain in ignorance like cats and dogs, thinking, I am this body, I am American, I am Indian, I am Brahmana, I am Kshatriya, I am Hindu, I am Muslim, and so on. These are all bodily designations. When one comes to spiritual understanding, he understands Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. This is called Brahman realization. It is not that we become Brahman by some practice. Gold is gold, even if it is covered with some dirt, which can certainly be removed. Similarly, we are all Brahman, spirit soul, but somehow or other we have come in contact with these material elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayuhu, and we have acquired bodily coverings. Consequently, we think, I am this body. This is ignorance, and unless one is enlightened by spiritual knowledge, he remains animalistic. Understanding one's spiritual identity is called dharma. The ultimate goal of dharma is enunciated by Sri Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. On this earth we have created so many dharmas. Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, Christian dharma. These are all manufactured dharmas. But real dharma is attained when we come to the conclusion that Sri Krishna is everything. Again, in the words of Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan ma prapadyate vasudevah sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant for the propagation of this message. We are not preaching a particular sectarian religious system, but a real religion, dharma. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. No one actually knows what dharma is, and no one can manufacture dharma. Dharma is the order of the Supreme Being. No one can manufacture state laws. They are given by the government. The simplest definition of dharma is that dharma is the order of the Supreme Being. Since the Supreme Being, God, is one, his order must be one. How then can there be different dharmas? It is not possible. Different dharmas are created due to ignorance, which causes people to think in terms of Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, Christian dharma, this dharma or that dharma. No, gold is gold. If a Christian possesses some gold, does it become Christian gold? Gold is gold, whether possessed by a Hindu, a Muslim or a Christian. According to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, dharma means surrendering unto that Supreme Being. This is Bhagavad Dharma, and everyone should be taught how to surrender unto God. God is one. There cannot be two gods. When there is competition, there is no God. Presently, there is a different God on every street, but Krishna is not that kind of God. He is the Supreme God. As Sri Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Mattaha paratram nanyat kinjit asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to inform everyone that no one is superior to Krishna, God, because many young Americans and Europeans are fortunate and know nothing of any hodgepodge God. They have taken this bona fide Krishna consciousness movement seriously. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavan, God, means Sri Krishna. We have simply presented this information saying, here is God, Sri Krishna. Because they have taken this seriously, many young Americans and Europeans are advancing in Krishna consciousness. Consequently, many people are surprised to see how Americans and Europeans have become such great devotees and are dancing in ecstasy. How is it they are so advanced? They have taken the information seriously. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Whether one touches fire blindly or knowingly, fire will burn. It is not that because the fire is touched by a child, fire will not burn. These young Westerners have touched fire, and consequently it is acting as fire. Acharyopasanam. This information, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, is not concocted, but is accepted by the Acharyas in the disciplic succession. Although an impersonalist, Shankaracharya, has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so have Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. They all accept Krishna as the Supreme, just as Arjuna himself did. This is the simplest method. There is no need to speculate. What is God? Where is God? Why foolishly go on searching? Here is God, Krishna. We may think that Krishna cannot be seen, but Krishna can appear in the form of his energy. Of course, a stone is not God, but a stone is another one of God's energies. Heat and light are not fire, but without fire there cannot be heat or light. In that sense, heat and light are non-different from fire. This material world is like the heat and light of the supreme fire. Ekadesha sthitasyagner jyotsna vistarini yatha parasya brahmana shaktis tathedam akhilam jagat. Just as a fire is situated in one place but spreads illumination all around, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahman, spreads his energies throughout this universe. From Vishnu Puran 1.22.53. The sun is situated in one place, and its light and heat expand throughout the entire solar system. As soon as we perceive light and heat, we can understand that the sun is there. Since light and heat can be perceived by everyone, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhasmi Shashi Surya Yaho. I am the light of the sun and the moon. People are saying, can you show me God? While not realizing that they are seeing God daily at every moment. Because people are foolish in this age, they cannot understand that when we perceive the energy of the Lord, we can feel the presence of the Lord. The young devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement are presently worshipping Krishna. What are the signs of a devotee? The actual sign of a devotee is that he is no longer interested in material enjoyment. Bhakti parishanu bhavo viraktir anyatra cha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42. The disciples of this Krishna consciousness movement do not go to the cinemas, restaurants or clubs, and they do not smoke or drink. In European and American countries, all these things are available and are very cheap, but these young people are not interested in them. They are simply interested in sitting on the floor and learning about Krishna consciousness. Why is this? They have actually rejected the material world. When one comes to detest material enjoyment, one can understand that he has advanced spiritually. Spiritual life does not mean taking sannyas and then smoking or drinking tea. One must actually come to detest material life. One comes to lose interest in material activities and becomes interested only in the understanding of God, the Supreme Being, and His service. As enjoined in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.1, Nayam deho deha bhajam nirloke kashtan kaman arhate vid bhujam ye. Out of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for the dogs and hogs that eat stool. The word vidbhujam means stool eaters. Hogs work hard day and night simply eating stool, and because stool contains chemicals, hydrophosphates, the hog gets strength, becomes very fat and enjoys sex. In any case, human life is meant not for imitating the life of a hog, but for tapasya, austerity. Okay, we'll pause here. We'll continue from here tomorrow. Yes, again, so many things that we were just talking about, Prabhupada brings up here. Right? So again, how to see Krishna everywhere. Right? We can see Krishna in the sun and the moon that we were just talking about. So it's wonderful, yeah. And yesterday only at work also I was talking to one of my colleagues about, like he was talking about his wife was interested in spirituality, or she was inside. I said, why only she? You should also be interested. I was telling you should also support your wife. But yeah, many of these things that like Prabhupada is actually giving this talk in India, right? So like he's saying, in India people have actually forgotten, right? Because when Prabhupada initially tried, as we saw in Prabhupada Leelamrit, he tried to publish Back to Godhead all single-handedly, right? He was writing, editing, publishing, printing, and even going out and distributing, and still people are not interested, right? There's many of them, they said no time, right? And Prabhupada said that's the disease of the modern civilization. But here, now he's come back to India in 1974 and he's talking, and now people are listening, right? This is a Pandal program, and we saw how there were like thousands, tens and thousands of people coming, how nicely his American disciples and European disciples had, collectively set up the whole Pandal and organized the whole program, right? And now Indians are coming and listening. So, like Maharaj would say, sometimes, we are so near, like, like our hands, if you bring our hands together, right? like our palms together with just little distance between them, but you don't keep your palms facing each other. You keep your, the backside of your palms facing each other. So it is like that. For Indians, we are so near to Krishna because we are born in the Pavitra Bharat Bhumi, right? Bharat Bhumi te hela manushya janma yaar, jivan sath kari kar paropkar, right? So we are born in India, but like our hands are so close to each other, but they are facing reverse. The back of our palms are facing each other. So it's like that. We are so close to Krishna, but are we really close to Krishna? We are close to Krishna, but we are facing opposite. We are facing away from Krishna. Versus these Americans and Europeans and Westerners, where Prabhupada taught them, they were so far, like you can keep your hands away from each other, but now your palms are facing each other. So now they are so far from Krishna, but since they are facing towards Krishna, eventually, they got closer to Krishna. So like that, Maharaj would say that, even though if we are going in the right direction, even if we are going slowly, we will reach the destination, once upon. But if we are going in the wrong direction, even though we may be closer to the destination, we are actually getting away from the destination, right? So like that. So that is the position. The other example, analogy that Prabhupada also shares many times is the concept of what Indians already know, right? Like here today, he's saying that now literally every street there is a God, right? But Krishna is not like that. Krishna is Bhagwan Swayam. So it's not like imitation gods that we have now in Kali Yuga in this age, and it's only going to increase more and more. In every street, every corner, there is one self-professed God in India at least, right? So again, we have to use our intelligence. That's why it's important that if we are sincere, we have to come to that level of mode of goodness, as Kapila Muni is telling Devati, Mother Devati, that once we come to the mode of, if we are on the mode of ignorance, then there is no chance of knowledge. If we come to the mode of passion, again we are fully engrossed in material sense enjoyment. So Vedas at least bring people to the level of goodness, but then we have to transcend even that, even transcend the three modes, and come. Then we'll be able to understand transcendental knowledge. But at least come to the mode of goodness, right? But to come to that, we have to take shelter of a bona fide guru. So if we want to be cheated, then there are a lot of cheaters in the market. But if we are sincere from the heart, the Lord is there, so He knows who is sincere and who is not. If we are truly sincere, then the Lord manifests Himself in the form of His pure devotees, and He will send a pure devotee, pure guru in our lives, just as He sent for Dhruva Maharaj, just as He sent for Prahlad Maharaj, right? So like that, the Lord will send a bona fide guru, and through a bona fide guru, we can understand and we can come to the mode of Shuddha Sattva and practice devotional service. So, so many things that just again resonated with what we were reading, and we have to get to that level of understanding Krishna by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by associating with Srila Prabhupada through his Vani, by Shravanam and Kirtanam. Then we can get to Vishnu Smaranam, and then we can do other forms of services, and vice versa also. When we do those services, we ultimately, again, like Prabhupada says again and again, ultimately by serving, we come to the process of becoming more better, more advanced in our spiritual journey, so that we can do better Shravanam and Kirtanam. Because once we serve the Lord through Dasyam, Sakhyam, we are engaged in the service of the Lord, then we improve in our quality of our sadhana. And then when we improve in the quality of our sadhana, then the holy name, like we say, is Abhinnatvam Namanamino. So when we come to the holy name, as Prabhupada says, the whole point of all of this is to convince you to chant. Once we chant, we have to get better, we have to improve the quality of our chanting. When we get to that level, then the Naam will itself reveal the Rupa and Guna and Leela further, right? So it's like from material world, like a perverted reflection, as we progress on our sadhana, ultimately come to the name, then the name will reveal and we transcend into the spiritual world, where the name reveals the form and the qualities and pastimes of the Lord. So like that. Okay, anything else anybody would like to share? Any reflections? This austerity, these qualities also are very important. Two important things. One, I was listening to another class by His Holiness Bhakti Ashra Vaishnava Maharaj. He was mentioning, for Brahmanas, like we were reading yesterday, Prabhupada was talking about qualities of Brahmanas, Brahmanical qualities. peacefulness, tolerance, purity, honesty, right? All of these qualities are also important. And so in it's not like when you practice bhakti, we will not have troubles, right? We were reading teachings of Queen Kunti last night, and the last week we have been reading, and same thing, this message is coming there as well, right? And it's not that the devotees of the Lord will not go through problems, right? We see that in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, we see that in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, we see that in the case of Pandavas. Even recently with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Leela, we see that in the case of Haridas Thakur, he was beaten in 22 marketplaces. So it's not that the devotees of the Lord don't have troubles, right? But even those troubles, they don't lose the shelter of the Lord, right? They don't leave the shelter of the Lord. So yeah, these qualities of tolerance, Maharaj was saying, that are very, very important. Two things Maharaj was saying in Hindi, कि अगर भक्ति में प्रगति करनी है तो जान लो कि जो सहे वही रहे. That means जो सहता है वही रहता है भक्ति में. So you have to learn to tolerate Shitoshna Shuka Dukkada, right? So you have to tolerate whatever comes in our life, because that is also the mercy of the Lord. So two qualities, very, very important qualities for a genuine devotee, is tolerance and cooperation. If we have these two, then for sure we will progress in spiritual life. So yeah, all right. So I'll pause with that. Any other thoughts, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Just wanted to add on that the two qualities that you mentioned, the one more is Karunika, Titiksheva, Karunika, Sadhava, Sadhubhushana. So besides tolerance and cooperation, mercy to the others, and that is also the quality of a sadhu. And I was also, the Prabhupada gives such awesome analogies about things. So he gave an analogy in the reading that you did about fire. And Prabhupada correlates fire to both ignorance and knowledge. So today he correlated it to knowledge, that if a child comes in contact with fire, even the child will get burned. And that is where he used knowledge, because knowledge will enlighten a child as well if he comes in contact with it. And at the same time, many of the readings, Prabhupada correlates fire with ignorance, that if, what is the excuse of being ignorant? So Prabhupada says that, well, even if a child comes in contact with fire, he will have to get burned. It's not that, oh, I don't know that, fire burns, so he will not get burned. The same thing, if you are ignorant, it's not an excuse that it's not your fault and you will not get a reaction. So these are very beautiful analogies for us to keep in mind and help us in our own sadhana and help to explain these concepts to others. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that Shitoshna Sukhada Dukkada is also very, very favorite words of my Guru Maharaj. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, these analogies, of course, Prabhupada analogies are so beautiful. I think there's one devotee, I forget his name, whether it's Ishwar Gauranga Prabhu, or I think he's from Phoenix. But he has a YouTube channel. I think he's also very popular on YouTube. But yeah, he and his wife, and they are also very nice, very good devotees. And I remember when you said past these analogies, I remembered they recently published a book where I think they have like an analogy of Prabhupada every day. And I think I saw that on YouTube a couple of months ago. But that reminded me that, yeah, it is good. Everything they have compiled like 365 analogies of Prabhupada. So every day you can read one, and it's good. I had only heard them. I think they had published them on YouTube for first 10 days or something like that. So, but it was good just to connect. Again, we can learn, we can remember Prabhupada's teachings through different ways, right? Like we were saying the other day, at the center, when we were doing all these different dramas and skits and dance and songs and music, and there's so many ways that we can reinforce our learning and look at Prabhupada's teachings from so many different perspectives. So yeah, so like that is also one way, that compilation of Prabhupada analogies. Yeah. Thank you, Anandini Gopika Mataji. Anybody else would like to say anything? right, then we'll pause here. Thank you for your kind association this morning with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Teachings of Lord Kapila ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day. Hare Krishna.